Hello, Internet. Thank you for coming to sellmycomicbooks.com's YouTube channel. And I'm Dawn. I'm sure you're like, where's Sean? Where's Sean? What's going on? But today we're doing something different, and we have Keith and Molly Dinsmore. And we'll tell you a little bit more about them in just a moment. But yeah, today we're going to be interviewing them, and they are cosplayers extraordinaire. So would you care to tell us, Keith, who do you like to cosplay as?
I most definitely like to cosplay mostly as Batman. He's my #1 favorite character.
So you're known as the Oldport Batman, correct?
Most definitely named for where I came from.
Awesome. So that's right here, Portland, Maine. And we also have Molly. And you love to cosplay as?
I do Batgirl. Her character spoke to me very loud and clear. So that's the one that I pick to and tend to go to for my primary.
And so we got Oldport Batman and Batgirl. How did you? Are those your first cosplay characters, or have you been cosplaying longer, or as other characters as well?
I've been cosplaying as a cosplay thing since 2013.
Since 2013.
Yes. But I've always been Batman every Halloween since I was like 6 years old. I never switched. So always Batman.
So lifetime Bat fan.
I didn't know it was I didn't actually know that cosplay was a thing when I got my first really expensive costume. I just started going out into the public, into the Oldport with the costume. I had to make more use of it. It was, at the time, over a $1,200 costume, and I was like, I've got to get more than just Halloween out of it. So
oh yeah,
I
know how that goes. Cosplaying myself, I've spent months and hundreds of dollars invested into costumes. I'm very well versed in that as well. And Molly, have you cosplayed as other characters as well?
I actually, since doing Batgirl, have cosplayed other characters when we go down to Dragon Con, but I started out with Batgirl and I have morphed significantly. I started out with a filigree mask and a black sports shirt with just the emblem stuck to my chest, walking around the Oldport. I don't even know if I had a cape to begin with, and now it's morphed into a muscle suit that was commissioned, and I have one of the best cowls out there that you can get, and we work with so much of the warbler again that time and expenditure to put into the suit itself. But I have done things like Chun-Li down at Dragon Con, which was a lot of fun to do.
Sounds like fun.
It is a lot of fun.
The buns and the high kicks.
Exactly. It took forever to find white boots to do that for.
Other Street Fighter cosplayers are awesome too.
Yes, they are. They're a lot of fun.
That's one of the great things about cosplaying and going to these events is when you run into the other people that are doing this. I remember one Halloween, I was dating someone named Leela, and we went as Fry and Leela.
Oh,
and
awesome.
While we were out at the bar, we ran into a bender. And it was just like, we're hanging out all night now.
Yes.
This is happening.
You are now my best friend.
So yeah, you've been cosplaying and in the scene for quite a while, and you met via cosplay?
No.
We did not.
No?
We met via the internet.
Via the internet,
Yes,
which, it's still running strong.
It sure is.
Seems to be working out well so far. We met on Plenty of Fish.
Plenty of Fish, huh?
Yes.
I'm still single, so I'll have to check that out myself.
Hey, it worked. We met on there and we're friends for 3 years, and then we started actually dating, and now we've been married for 3 years. Have a lovely home in the middle of nowhere in Maine.
that describes a lot of Maine, though.
It really does.
If you're not in Portland, Freeport, Bangor,
Yep.
you're in the woods.
Yeah,
we like it.
We're in a pretty good spot around here. No offense, Northern Maine. But yeah, also one of the more main reasons why we're having you here today is because you have an event that you would like to tell everybody about.
Most
correct?
definitely. You're very correct.
Yeah, so tell us about this event that you have.
Well, we've been working very hard. We decided a total of 4.5 months ago that we were going to set up our own convention. Maine is in a massive lacking of any of these kind of events, and over the past few years we've seen more and more of them die away. And it's really sad, and we honestly wanted a chance to bring back that feeling of community and enjoyment that we get from going to these conventions in our own backyard and invite the people
Absolutely.
to come to join us in our home. So that is what we decided to do, but we had to work really hard to make sure that we could get the absolute best venue. So Thompson's Point is that's the place to be in Portland. Absolutely gargantuan building, great backdrop, and outside everything. It's just going to be a perfect
And
setup.
what do you call the event?
Maine Cosplay Extravaganza.
So that's the Maine Cosplay Extravaganza, and that's at Thompson's Point,
Yeah.
and that's at the end of April, correct?
Yes, April 30th. and
April
May 1st.
30th. Excellent. And feel very fortunate that you are allowing me to participate in your event as well.
Most definitely.
So
Very
I,
excited.
I will be there cosplaying as well. I look forward to it very much, and the opportunity that you're bringing to so many people. I've seen a few listings on there that got me excited. There's a Batman in a Batmobile, and a
yeah.
Spider-Man in a Spider-Mobile.
Yes,
Because
most
I'm like,
definitely.
oh, what?
Yes, we managed to get the 66 Batmobile booked for our show. That was
yeah.
that was one
The
of the
66.
first things that I actually set out to do myself. And finding these cars isn't as easy as I thought it was going to be.
I was surprised. I was like, really?
Yeah, I was like, we can do it. And from there, everything extra that falls into place
Yeah.
just makes me realize how much of an event it's going to be. A lot of the
Yeah.
community is really pulling together, and we want everybody to be able to work together to basically do what they do. We've got a lot of vendors. The vendors need to make money. We kept our vendor prices really low. We want to pay the bills, and aside from that, we're just trying to build a really big community event.
Yeah, I mean, having it in Portland and that venue, as you said, I think are both excellent places for building.
One of the thought process too about Thompson's Point is that the Amtrak is right there, the Concord Trailways is right there, and
Yep.
the Portland bus actually now runs directly down in front of Thompson's Point
Mhm.
as well. So those who are out of state and don't necessarily want to drive or can't drive, they have the ability to just come up and like be right at the event.
Mhm.
The hotels are plentiful, especially if they book now.
Yeah.
Right before
Because
tourist
we're only
season.
getting the sooner.
Yeah, the
It's
sooner
getting
the better.
closer.
Just because as tourist season picks up here in Maine, obviously we know prices start to increase a little bit. The other reason why we chose our price point, which is $20 for one day, $30 for 2 days, is because we want to make it family oriented. The loss of the Oldport Fest was a really big hit to a lot of people, a lot of vendors. You know, the sense of community that we had grown to know every single summer.
Yeah.
And to gather together just sort of, fell apart. And if it takes just the love of two people wanting to bring that, the city back together, then that's what it needs to happen. Also with the Spidey Mobile actually happens to belong to a friend of ours.
Yeah.
He decked his car out. He won first place in a contest recently up in our neck of the woods. Dustin, he's one of the leaders of Honor, and they do a lot of charity work. So he has his car there, and they'll have their table there. The other big part of this convention is also supporting a lot of charities that we've worked with and or would like to work with either in the future or on their own capacity, like the 501st is there. They do charity work.
And that's
Um,
Star Wars, like
Yep.
Mandalorian related.
That's all that.
In case anybody.
That's right. And we will not pretend we do not know all genres. We are bigger supers, but this is also a call for all cosplayers because we want anime, we want your Star Wars fans, we want your Star Trek fans, we want your furries, we want originals,
Yeah,
we want
yeah.
mashups, we want literally everything. And if you have never even bothered to put a costume on other than Halloween, try it out. If it's just face paint or you want to wear something just a little outside the box. That's one of my biggest things about this whole thing that I've stuck to is I want people to show their shine.
Yeah.
And that's whether you're a vendor, if you're one of my food trucks that's going to be there, if it's Thompson's Point in itself, they have shown their shine so wonderfully and so gratefully to us, and then to all of our participants, our cosplay friends. There's something special about each and every one of us, and it all it takes is the acceptance. We're also going to be having something with the LGBTQIA plus community meet and greet as well. Our friend Gil from Rhode Island is going to be putting that together, because we feel like Portland is so wonderfully inclusive.
Absolutely.
And we are some of the biggest allies you will find. Everybody is a friend. And my kids will say, I've never met a stranger. I really haven't. I love people, even on someone's darkest day. And if you can make somebody smile, and I feel like cosplay conventions really do that, because we had talked about it recently, it's one of the few places that you can go to that you can hear over and over again, you're awesome.
Yeah.
You look awesome.
Yeah, the support.
It's amazing.
amazing.
And it just builds you up. Builds you up. And you walk out of there and you're like, I feel like $1 million.
Yeah, you know, when you just have people come, you're like, oh, can I get my photo with you?
Yes.
Can we get one together?
Automatic
you know,
celebrity.
like I was talking about with the Fry and Leela and Bender thing. Like, you never know who you're going to run into, who you're going to see, and the kind of support you're going to get.
Yes.
I have the list of the remaining Batman characters that I haven't met over the years.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very small.
I was going to
but
say, it's got to be...
a Man-Bat and a very few special
right, now you got me
others.
thinking. Now you got me thinking.
But I've got that list at every con, and I freak out. I'll, like, run, chase
Yeah.
somebody down. I'm
Like, oh, I got to check them off!
I see they're like a quarter mile up the road. I'm like, I can get
Yeah.
I
that.
say we met a calendar man at Dragon Con.
Oh, nice.
That
Totally,
made me
like-
very happy.
Out of the blue, because he was like, oh, look, and I was like, I don't know who that is. I'll be very honest, I don't know who that
I
is,
did.
but he does, and I've gotten schooled
Nice.
quite a bit over the years. In a
Well,
lot
that's what
of
we do.
different
We
Not a
help
lot.
educate each other because
Exactly.
we have,
Yep.
80 plus years of multiple brands of comic books that are
Yep.
just pumping out these thousands of characters. But
I've done that plenty of times. You
yeah.
walk up to somebody like, I'm not familiar with what you're from, but your costume looks
Yeah.
amazing. Like, what is this? And it's a learning period.
We've talked about the cosplay event. We've talked about your backgrounds a little bit. Tell me a little bit more about yourselves on your personal favorite characters outside of your cosplay, Keith.
Personal favorite.
And outside of the cosplay, so try to stray away from Batman if possible. You can
If I'm,
tell us all about the
repeating
Batman.
Sentence really
Yeah.
slowly, and you should go first.
No. No, it's perfectly fine. I'm just teasing you a little bit because we all know how much you love Batman.
Michael
so
Knight.
how'd you?
Actually, yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, you guys-
that's very
Yes,
true.
Michael Knight, and I might identify more with Kit than anything, but no,
With Gar.
a lone
Yes.
crusader on a cause. Except for I'm no longer a lone crusader, so I like working with.
But it's a persona that you
Partners.
would take on.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
it's acting.
I would love to. There's actually a convention that they do down south where they get 30 or 40 Knight Rider replicas, and they all come to this one area. I think it's down in North Carolina. And I would definitely go down that as
That
Michael
sounds
Knight.
pretty fun.
Yes. Get the
I mean, what's
fro
not
and
to love
everything.
about the Hoff, you know?
Yes,
It's very
absolutely.
true. What was it? William Daniels. There was a chance
Oh, William Daniels.
at Boston
Yeah.
to get his picture taken with him. And
I
it was
see.
between William Daniels and Pam Anderson, but unfortunately then Pam Anderson canceled, but it was too late to get the picture with William Daniels,
Yep.
and I was like, oh, you could have had Kit.
Now we
torn
don't
between
have-
barbed wire and
Yeah, exactly.
Now we don't hesitate, and you're just like, whatever. We just pay in advance so that the money out of pocket, once we leave after the trip, is usually really minimal. You prepay everything but gas and food. So
Yeah,
it's it doesn't hurt as much all at once if you know about an event early enough. And
Yeah.
now we don't hesitate. And there's you never know when you're not going to get any more chances to meet up with Stanley or you know what I mean,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So take
Well,
your
you know,
opportunities.
you could do as much planning as you can, but I'm pretty sure when we met was not due to planning. It was
Nope.
No.
it was
Happy
very
coincidence.
No,
little
very
happy
happy.
coincidence. I filled in as a photographer for a photo shoot with them, is what it was. So
Yes, indeed.
it was a random call one day. Hey, "Are you available today?" And it's great because Damon is a great friend of mine.
I was gonna say friend of a friend.
Yeah, and he was just like, "Oh, he was probably thinking, oh, you know who likes Batman? Dawn likes Batman."
Like, well, and that was the first thing he said. He's like, he's a cosplayer too.
Oh, okay, I see.
I'm like, okay, let's hit him up.
Perfect. Yeah, that was a great day. That was fun.
Yes.
When, I'm sure we'll be referencing it in the little cutaways so people can see you in uniform, as it
most
were.
definitely.
That was a labor of love in itself too. Getting 16 cosplayers together, most who actually are
Yeah.
Marvel cosplayers,
Yeah.
to put on bat suits of some sort,
Yeah.
and all for a Gotham shoot. It was insane, and the fact that the city of Portland is just so blasé about it. It was 16 cosplayers on the steps of City Hall, and there was a little audience here and there, but
Oh my
everybody else
God.
was just kind of like,
They
oh,
just keep
cool.
on walking.
I
by.
remember people driving by out the window, "Hey, Batman!" It's
Yeah.
just like, "It's Batman!" Like yelling just as they're going by. And like little kids, you could hear them as they're going by.
Turn people happy. You can have a magical power as a cosplayer for real, and you can just make people happy. That was the first thing that hooked me personally when I started going out into the Oldport as Batman. The
Yep.
second I would see people like fighting, literally fighting, and stop me like,
Yeah.
and then I was just like starting to realize that the police were noticing the difference I was making. Like people were actually stopping me and going, "Hey, what you're doing is actually like you're actually doing good down here." And
Yeah.
Because we don't get
Wow.
involved in
You're bringing
anything.
the positivity.
It's-
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It was
we
just our
don't-
presence
Yeah.
actually did something, and then we started going to conventions, and I started realizing these conventions, we leave like sad, like I don't get to see my family for another year. And, like,
Well, we're bringing it more around
right.
more and more often. That's why we're
Exactly.
doing these things,
That's
right?
right.
most
We-
definitely.
One of the goals too is to show, and we love Boston, we love Rhode Island, and we love Connecticut and Mass and stuff. Is to show the rest of the Northeast that Maine is here to stay, and we have a group of cosplayers that can really put on a show. And it's a place to come spend your money, and that's why we're pushing so hard for a lot of the local vendors and stuff, because the people of Maine, other than tourist season, we need this. We need to survive as a state, as a community, and if it's something by doing good, then by all means, let's do it. And
Absolutely.
it's small businesses, everybody needs a chance.
Well, we're building this thing on working with a lot of people. This is one of those cool industries where you're not competition, or you don't have to be.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure some people definitely view it like that, but we haven't. The first thing I did was reach out to everybody who runs any kind of a convention that I knew
Right.
about in the area, and I'm like, "Hey, would you like a table? Would you like to join us?
Yeah.
PortCon will be joining us." I just reached out. I was like, I found out who the owner was at random, and I'm like,
Yep.
I'll message his comic book shop and see if he wants it. Like, what? That's very gracious. And like, this is community. I'm not this.
Yeah.
And we made sure not to book over anybody else's dates, and been very careful about it because we don't want to. We want to pull everything.
Yeah, I mean,
together.
it's great to go out there and put yourselves out there with a non-compete and a community sense of
Absolutely.
mind, because as we mentioned before, Maine is a small pond, and we'd rather see everybody there enjoying it
Absolutely.
rather than trying to split anybody up, because then it, like, I was out in California a lot, and there's a problem out there where you're like, shit, there's 3 bands playing tonight that I want to see. Which one will I go to see? You don't have that problem out here. It's
No.
different.
No, everything is so spread out and everything, and we reached out to BCTC, gave them the invite to join us. It's their show is 1 week before ours, so it probably won't be so easy for them, but it was very important for us to reach out to everybody because
Absolutely.
that's the whole meaning of community.
And we also reach out to local band talent too,
Yes,
because
we know Maine
come on,
has
it's
music.
thirsty.
Yeah.
It's thirsty
Yeah.
out here, and Dark Rain. And
I know Dark Rain. They're longtime family friends.
All right, so Dark Rain is going to be performing
Oh, that's so
on
amazing.
Saturday.
I'm gonna talk to them now.
Band Inc. Is also going to be performing on Saturday, so each is going to play about a 2-hour set.
Well, if you still have spots, I know somebody
Oh.
else who would fit in with those guys.
We,
She's the
so
one running the-
I'm doing the
All right,
performance.
cool.
Performances
Um,
department.
All right, Mound,
got
I'm thinking
some-
about you.
We got some, burlesque performers,
Yeah.
and we also have somebody who's going to be doing a little bit performing before the cosplay contest. There will be a cosplay contest.
And it will be well organized.
Well organized.
We got awesome
Yeah,
prizes.
we've had conversations
everything.
about that before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their kids will be separate from the adults.
Yep.
It is really hard as an adult cosplayer.
And there's no
to
best
compete.
category.
It's
Like, we're all the best of.
Right, and,
Yes,
and that's one of
exactly.
the things that is hard. I mean, cosplay contests are wonderful, but the true appreciation, and when we just did a judging up at Nerdfest, is letting everybody know that we appreciate all of the work,
Mhm.
and,
A lot of
and yes,
work.
there are different places, but everybody's work is important. What they've put into it, and those of us who have been in the business for a while, we know that it's that time to take a step back too, because there are others that are up and coming. I mean, there was a leathersmith one up at Nerdfest. She wound up actually being a judge, but it was her very first costume ever, and we all were just like plotzing,
Yeah.
like
She's
just totally
amazing.
just like, this is your first suit. Oh, okay.
Look
Like,
forward to seeing the next one.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I mean, it was beautiful. I couldn't even like wrap my head around it, because leather working is just such a skill
Yeah.
that I don't
Yes.
possess in any way, shape, or form. So
Cosplay is usually secondary at a lot of conventions, with the vendors almost being primary.
You see it with a lot more of the guests.
Yeah,
Than you
absolutely.
do.
It's
Yeah.
it's a celebrity this, celebrity that. I've got a couple of irons in the fire of attempting to get some celebrities, but you know what? Our main focus is
Yeah.
the cosplay, and that's the primary on this one.
Yeah, that's time and money and planning for next year.
right.
Absolutely.
And that's the
This
other
year
thing.
goes really well, then it gets bigger next year.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know?
And that's the hope is
Yeah.
to grow, and Thompson's Point actually has more spaces that we can grow into, which
Mhm.
makes
Yes.
it all the
There's
better.
several buildings around, and
Right.
each one you can just add to the thing. And we went basically as low, but making sure that we could hold everybody. There's 115 vendor slots with 11 by 11 cubes that for the walkways and everything. So everything is very nicely spaced out. You're not on top of everybody. Some of the conventions, like held at like hotels and stuff, those can get really
Right.
stuffy and
Yeah.
right in with people. And honestly, we figured, especially considering the layout for the past few years, that picking a space that had space was very important to us.
All right. Well, it all sounds really awesome and amazing. Like so much opportunity in the forward. So, you have something?
One more thing.
Yeah.
We are going to be starting a Kickstarter soon.
Yes.
Because this is just him and I. We got a small amount from his work that's all long gone. So everything is coming out of our pockets at this time. So we'll
Oh,
let you know when we
thank
hit
God
the
it's
ground
tax
running.
season.
And
Yeah.
I'll be sure to put all of that information in the description and the links below so that you guys have access to all of that information.
Thank you.
And to help close us out, a random question, two parts. First one, desert island. Like you're stuck on a desert island, you can only bring one book with you. What would it be? It'll be both of you. And then the final question would be, who might you recommend for me to interview next? So start with the desert island.
Okay. Well, I know I tortured her for her answer the other day. I'm not very willing to accept what my lot is, so I chose to have a do-it-yourself building boat book. And I will
Do-it-yourself
find
build a boat
way to get to where I need to go. I am very headstrong, so I have a feeling I would find
That's
my way
awesome.
off.
That's classic.
She said something about an actual book, and I'm like, what? I hope that burns well. You're gonna need to be warm while I'm rowing back to
Classic.
society.
That is classic.
And mine was Dr. Doolittle. I read that when I was in like 4th grade, and if I'm stuck on a desert island, I want to learn how to talk to the animals. So, bring that fantasy to reality at some point, I
Awesome.
guess. But it's a wonderful book too, full of imagination. What was the other question?
The recommendations for another.
Oh, yeah, we both agree on the same
Yeah,
person.
most definitely agree that Stephen Palmer, the
Stephen
adorable
Palmer.
Deadpool,
The adorable Deadpool.
Yes, I
We'll be
believe he's out
looking
of
you
those.
up.
he's a real great dude. Does a lot of what we do. We met him cosplaying, so this
Awesome.
is wonderful.
Well, thank you both so much for coming in today and doing this interview with me, and I hope
Thank
you
you
guys
for having us.
enjoyed, and I will link you all the information so you can look these guys up yourselves. All right.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Internet.